Hello again, everybody. This is Spider Fighter. I've had a request to show how to set up pit trap puzzles, the sequenced pit traps. And that's great. If you have any requests, please let me know, because it's been a couple of months since I've seen Comag's video series, so I don't really remember what he's covered and what he hasn't. So if you have anything you want to see, please let me know. Best way to get hold of me is to PM Spider Fighter on the Grimrock forums. So I'm going to show you a couple of different types of pit trap puzzles. One's going to be the pits opening and closing in sequence, and the other one's going to be an oscillating type of puzzle. You could do this with scripting, of course, but I'm going to use pressure plates and timers. One, because it's a lot easier to see what's going on in a video tutorial, and two, because I think it's more foolproof for me anyway, and certainly for the beginning modder. So you see I set up a simple room right here. I'm going to put the player start right here, so the idea is that we're going to trigger our pit traps. So to do that, we need some pits. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a trap door. I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste. So we can just keep pasting, because I'm going to have 6 of them. We want them all facing the same way so that it looks pretty. And then for this, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with them every other door closed. So we'll do this one, and we'll do this one, and now we'll take a look and see what that looks like. So there. Right now this plate's not connected to anything, so nothing's going to happen yet. So that's our starting position. Now we need 2 timers. And the way we're going to start setting this particular puzzle up is this timer will go to this row, and this timer will activate this row. Now you don't have to have it for testing purposes, but for the game you will need another level below you, and we can use page up and page down to go between to see where our pits are going to be, so that if a player does fall down in there, now he has a place to land. You could also make death tiles, on when the player hits the tile, then a hidden pressure plate, then you can call a script to kill them. You can certainly find that in the useful scripts repository on the Grimrock forums. But for right now, we're just going to put this down here, and then you probably want to add more to this, so a staircase so they can get back up, or a teleporter, or maybe even make this a secret way or another way into a lower level. So anyway, but back to what the topic at hand is. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a connector to each one of the pits on that timer's row, and we want to toggle them, because if you leave these open, then what's going to happen is it's going to open this pit, and we're going to connect it to the next timer, of course. So it's going to open this pit, go to this timer is going to open these pits, then it's going to come back here, and these are already open, so you're never going to see anything else happen. Nothing will close. So we want to toggle. And what I've done is I've done this, set them all to toggle, and then sent it to the next timer to activate it. And it's a good idea to always deactivate a timer when you're done with it, so that it doesn't, if you've got a dozen of these, it's going to start to eat up CPU cycles. So it's always a good thing to do. So we're going to add the connectors to all of these pits and set them to toggle as well. Add a connector to the other timer. I want these toggled. And then I've learned from experience, because I actually have a pit trap very similar to this in one of my own maps, and through beta testing I found that a really good timer setup is for the one closest the player to be 1.2 seconds, and the next one to be 1.9. So let's try that out, see what it looks like. Nothing. You know why? Because I didn't actually trigger the first timer. So you also want to make this activate once, because you don't want to keep spamming this timer if the player should step off and back on and off and back on. So There you go. Time to get across, but not so much that they're not a little panicked. Obviously you wouldn't have a walkway right here, but okay, that's the oscillating one. Now let's do the sequence one. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at creating a sequence puzzle, sequence pit puzzle. And you can do this with oscillating timers like this other example did, but I'm going to do actually one timer per pit. And we'll take our first pit and we'll copy and paste that. I'm going to, whoops, copied it, never pasted it. So you're using Alt-C to copy, then Alt-V to paste, just like we did before. And now, just to make the moving process easier, I'm going to copy this one and then paste it. And paste it again, and paste it again. Now we've got 4 all going the same way. Now because this is all going to be in sequence, I'm leaving all of these open. I'm not going to alternate any of them closed. I'm going to throw a couple of torch holders in so we can see what's going on. And we're going to have one timer for each pit. Actually, each timer is going to control 2 pits, but I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So we're going to do a pressure plate. Normally this would be hidden, of course, so that the player couldn't see it. There's our starting position. Okay, so we need our timers now. We're almost set here. You do one for each. Of course, this plate is going to trigger the first timer once only. There. Now, here's what we want to do. We want to make sure that these are actually closing in sequence. So each timer is going to close its own while opening 2 steps away. If you open the one next to it, the player would never be able to get across, because while one was closing, the other would always be opening, and so you wouldn't be able to get across. So we're going to go 2 spaces away. So we're going to add a connector to this one. That's going to be closed. We are going to add 2 spaces away would be here. That's going to be open. We're going to send it to the next timer in line, and we're going to deactivate the one we're currently on. And that's it. We're going to do this all the way up the line. This one's going to be closed. 2 away is this, so we're going to open that one, send it to the next timer, and deactivate itself. Close this one. Now 2 away is actually this one, so we're going to open that, send it to the next timer, deactivate. And then the final one, so you didn't think it was going to be this easy, did you? Is close, 2 away, open. We're going to send this back to the first timer in the sequence, deactivate itself, and we'll leave everything at 1 second, because that'll give it plenty of time to get across. And here's what it looks like. And you can play with these timers. You can actually make them a little faster if you want to, but make them all the same speed unless you really want to tweak with the player. And there you go. 2 different ways to set up pit trap puzzles. See you in the next tutorial.